Your landscaping and your plant choices make such a huge difference when you're talking about the curb appeal of your home. So in today's video, I want to cover some of the top mistakes I see homeowners making when it comes to curb appeal and creating a beautiful, welcoming, inviting entrance, and how you can actually fix or not do those things in the first place. My name is Amy, and over at Pretty Purple Door, I help home gardeners design landscapes that are uniquely you. So let's get into these curb appeal mistakes and solutions so that you can have a beautiful, welcoming entrance without making some of the mistakes that I've made and that others are making that I see pretty commonly. Mistake number 5 is not using evergreens in your landscape plan for the front of your house. So evergreens create structure and they provide greenery through the winter months. This is especially important if you live in a climate where it gets cold and the deciduous trees will drop their leaves. So even if you don't want to put the evergreens in the back of your property because you don't need the privacy and things like that, I always say that it's really important to use those evergreens in the front of your property to keep it looking green and welcoming and inviting, even in the winter months when people are coming to your property. Curb appeal mistake number 4 is using too many plants. So typically your foundation or your front yard landscape is for other people, not necessarily for yourself, although you should be able to enjoy your front yard too. You have to think about it as people viewing your landscape from quite a distance. So using too many plants and not repeating the same plant enough can really make it look a little messy and kind of scattered. So especially with curb appeal in mind in your front yard, I'd recommend using larger groupings of plants instead of just onesie twosies of this and that. This is especially important if you're not sort of comfortable with color theory and all of those things. Just planting masses of plants is going to work a lot better than trying to pick too many different things for your curb appeal. And if you liked this tip, I recommend you check out my 3 garden design secrets training. I'll leave a link to that in the description below, but I cover the top 3 mistakes that I see home gardeners making, and it's in full depth. It's about an hour long, totally free for you to watch, so definitely check that one out when you're done with this video. Mistake number 3 is choosing plants that aren't really proportional to your home, and I see this one really often where you'll see a huge 2-story colonial, and then there's just like a row of like 2-foot perennials in front of it, and the scale just ends up being off when you have such a large home and smaller plants in it. So the whole point of kind of surrounding your house with the landscaping is to nestle the house into that landscaping so it feels like it's more part of the nature and the greenery around it. And you can get into a lot of trouble if you're not choosing plants that are large enough and at scale enough to do this. One tip that I have for this is to sort of run a line from the front of your door and then up about 2/3 of the way of your house. And that's sort of about the height of plant that you'll need. So if you have a 12-foot height here, you're going to need something that's probably around 8 foot high to anchor the house into the landscape so that it really feels like it fits in and it's not out of proportion or scale. This is for foundation plantings. Trees and shrubs that are placed like a little bit further away from your home, you don't necessarily have to follow this as closely, but the ones that are right up against your house, make sure that you're choosing plants that accommodate the scale and the size of your home so that it fits in really well and it anchors your home into the landscape. Curb appeal mistake number 2 is not having a focal point. And when you're talking about curb appeal, the main thing that you want to do is welcome people into your property. So you have to make sure that there's a really easy way for them to get to where they park their car to your front door. So the most logical focal point for a front yard is the front door. So you could do this by choosing plants to accentuate like the stairs of the front door, maybe putting some beautiful containers there. You can actually paint your front door, add a really beautiful wreath to the front door. But the real goal here is to make it feel welcoming and inviting and make sure that people don't have any question about where they should be going when they enter your property. And that'll just make them feel more welcome. And it really does add to that curb appeal. And mistake number 1 is not keeping it simple. When you're talking about the front yard landscape, like I said, you're going to be viewing it from quite a distance. And if you're including lots of different water features, lots of different plants, all different things going on, it just makes it look a little messy and confusing. So especially in the front yard, you want to make it welcoming, inviting, and also really simple. It's really easy to overdo it. So don't worry too much about it. Just plant in large groups, keep the same color scheme, make sure that it's easy to get in the front door, allure, and you'll be well on your way to having a beautiful home with beautiful curb appeal that all your neighbors are going to be jealous of. And if you liked this video, make sure that you check out these other mistake videos. I'll have a playlist right here for you, and I'll see you over in that next video.